Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and one request I've been getting here at the channel over the last few days is to highlight a few different builds based around the Eagle-Bearer. As a lot of you have reached out to the channel over the last week saying you finally got this exotic, and you've asked me to highlight a few builds that are pretty easy to put together, something with good amount of damage and survivability, so that's exactly what you're going to get today. Now, as always, we're going to jump right into the details, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps the channel out, and if you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. Now, when it comes to the specialization for both builds, I'm using Gunner, and I'm doing that for the typical reasons. You know, you get that extra armor on kill, you get a reload speed increase, but the primary reason, as always, is because I love to use the Banshee Pulse with most of my builds, and the specialization gives you access to it. Now, one thing I always mention in every build video I post is that regardless of the specialization you choose, you want to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. And the reason I say that is because a lot of players out there use the same template for multiple builds. And if you don't have the proper weapons selected, you're leaving 15% weapon damage on the table, and you do not want to make that mistake because that can have a big impact on the amount of damage, obviously, that you're putting out. So needless to say, my primary weapon is the Eagle-Bearer, and it is easily the best time in the game to farm for this weapon without a doubt because of the 2025 winter event. I will leave a link to a video I posted talking about all the farming details in the video description down below. You can see this weapon has the talent Eagle Strike. Accuracy increases as you continuously fire, up to 30%. Headshot kills grants the tenacity buff for 15 seconds. The strength of tenacity is increased 1% for body shots and 5% for headshots. And the rest of the talent reads as follows. 40 to 80% of damage taken is delayed until the buff expires. All of the total delayed damage is reduced for each enemy killed while the buff is active, up to 100% with 3 kills. Now, as far as the secondary and sidearm are concerned, you have a lot of choices, but for me in this build, I'm using the Stack Broker as my secondary in order to build stacks for Striker as quickly as possible, and my sidearm is the Quick Step because that will give you an extra 20% movement speed when the weapon is in your hand. Now, starting with the mask, you can see it is the first piece of the Striker gear set. We're running 4 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. 2 pieces 15% weapon handling, 3 pieces 15% rate of fire, 4 pieces Striker's Gamble. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. Next we have the body armor. It is the first of 2 pieces of the unit alloy brand set. And as you can see, this is the named body armor, the Equalizer, with its talent Perfect Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. That is going to stack up to 24 times. Next we have the holster. It is the second piece of unit alloys. It is the name holster, the Salvo. We're running that for that middle attribute, 5% rate of fire. Which now takes us to the knee pads, the gloves, and the backpack. They are the final 3 pieces of the Striker gear set, and because we are wearing the Striker backpack, you can see it gives us access to the talent risk management, which increases total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 0.90%. Now, as far as the skills are concerned, for both builds, I'm using a combination of the Crusader Shield and the Banshee Pulse. And at this point, my friends, as promised, I want to show you another variation really quick. So the one I just highlighted, that is what I will use if I'm running Countdown, if I'm rolling in a group, things like that. But as a solo player, I will use the version you're looking at on screen right now. So what I did is I switched the holster to a piece of Striker. And as you can see, I switched the backpack to the Memento, and as far as gear is concerned, this is my favorite exotic in the game unquestionably, because when you're taking out NPC, you're going to be picking up those trophies. That is going to give you extra weapon damage, bonus armor, skill efficiency as well. And the version you're looking at on screen, that is what I'm using in the gameplay footage. Now you'll notice I'm sitting at 1.5 million armor. Some of you may not want that, but for me, this is a very tanky build. It puts out a really good amount of damage as well. So remember, this is just a template. Take your time, make a build your own, try out different variations. I'd also like to mention I do not have any global modifiers active in this build, and the reason for that is to ensure that whenever you see this thing, you know exactly what it can do without any special events going on. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope everyone is having a great weekend so far. Do me a favor, let me know, what are your plans for New Year's? I'm doing a whole lot of nothing. I can tell you right now. You know, family will be asleep by probably 10 o'clock, which means by then I'll be just probably gaming into the new year. Pretty damn good beginning if you ask me. Anyway. When it comes to this weapon, there's definitely a learning curve, but once you get it down, because you want to make sure you get those headshot kills, you can see how much damage this weapon is putting out. Now, this may not be my go-to weapon moving forward, but I know a lot of you out there really wanted to see a build that's kind of plug and play, like I said at the beginning of the video, so hopefully this helps you out. If you are still on the hunt for this weapon, remember this event goes until January 6th. So keep farming for those keys, keep opening up those caches, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And as promised, I will also be bringing you a Regulus build over the next few days as well. All right, that's all I got for this one, my friends. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you in the next one.
Looks like you got True Sun's reinforcements headed your way.
North or south side?
Both. Heavier concentration to the south.
With all those gates sealed, the north exit should be closer. Right now!
No more contact. All clear.
You just recovered intel that's going to be a whole lot of help to Odessa in the short term, but to all of us in the long run. You also effectively put this hellhole out of commission.